Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is No Dust here, and we're going to do some more budget shaman ladder climbing. No epics, legendaries, or adventure cards. So let's hop into game and hop into game one. Okay, Hunter. I think this is a fine keep. I can abusive into knife juggle. These will serve me well against an aggro hunter, and this the acidic swamp ooze on turn 3 against the eagle horn will be fine. Yeah, so somehow we ended up at rank 16. I think as a result of going up against several aggressive opponents that sort of ran out of steam. So if you see last episode, I think we're on episode 9 now. Yeah, Ep 9 of season 3. If you see Ep 8, yeah, I think I ran into 3 consecutive opponents that ran out of steam. Okay, here's the question: do I want to trigger the Mad Scientist? There's no guarantee that it's going to be an explosive. If I trigger the Mad Scientist and play a Knife Juggler, it could still be. The thing is, usually I don't like to trigger the Mad Scientists, but in this case, I sort of want to keep my Knife Juggler alive. Yeah, okay, let's do this. And I will trigger it first, just in case, just to play around Snipe. It's unlikely that he has a Snipe in his list, but you never know. Most likely it's going to be. It could even be Bear as well. Most likely it's going to be... Okay. I don't think we even attack in. I think I just toad him up. And hope for a lucky knife. Ugh, that wasn't a lucky knife. Now if it's a freezing, I can protect my board. Let's see how he plays out the next turn. Yeah, it's a bit of a strange, because an explosive would be quite disastrous here. Anything else is not that bad. And a freezing actually protects my Knife Juggler. Makes it a 4-drop, which isn't too bad, but it's unlikely to be played. I mean, I could drop it next turn. If it gets frozen, I could drop it next turn. No, let's pass. I want to force him to trade into the Knife Juggler. If it depends on what my opponent does with the double stealth infiltrators. Okay, so you've got a juggler as well. Okay. Okay, this is definitely aggro hunter. Now that's more likely than to be explosive. You might even just have like 2 copies of explosive and 1 copy of freezing, or double explosive, double freezing. I doubt you'd have something like Bear in an aggro hunter. I think we're okay to play the Maiden.
I am freed from the curse.
It provides a lot of defensiveness against this sort of board. The problem being if we run in... Ugh, the pig is not great. I'm not happy about the pig. But the problem being if we run into a freezing trap, I have very little board presence. We sort of need a lightning storm, or even a pyro will do a ton of work here. The knife juggler is not going to do much. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I think it's an explosive. I think we hex. I think I'm going to have to hex the Huffer. Yep. Now, there probably isn't Eagle Horn Bow for me to silence. I mean, for me to ooze. So let's present the Knife Juggler as another target. Anything that stops him from going face buys me a little bit more time to draw into my Earthen Ring and my Healbot, and also my Lightning Storms. Okay. Okay, yeah, so he's just going to go full aggressive. We're still looking for... And now I spent the Hex, so the Pyro's not going to do a lot for us. We're still looking for a number of things. I can Thunder Bluff Totem. The question is, I'm pretty sure this is an explosive. I don't think I'm going to hit his face anyway. Let's do Thunder Bluff Totem. We become very, very weak. Okay, and I think we keep the Knife Juggler alive. Or do I want the flex of using 1 mana to do a totem up? I think actually the 1 mana totem up is more valuable. Let's clear the beasts to eliminate any skill command shenanigans. Although there is 6 damage staring me in the face. So you only need 3 reach. If there's a skill command, if there's a quick shot, yeah, be quiet. Yeah, so what happened there in that game? I think the double Worgen, actually. The double Worgen did a lot of work against my board. And yeah, we didn't have the AoE board clear when we needed it. So I mean, this is a situation where having double Lightning Storm would have been great. But I haven't really been running into too many of these aggressive decks. So let's just hold out. Let's see how we go. Okay, let's go into game 2. And even, I was just thinking, even against an aggro hunter like that, you don't actually want the Lightning Storm. I think the Lightning Storm sets you too far behind. I think it's better to have something like a Pyro with cheap spells. Say like Pyro plus an Earth Shock, because that gives you an easy clear on, you know, things like Mad Scientists and so on and so forth. Let's play so this baits out the Mortal Coil on turn 2, which isn't too bad because it forces him to have a turn 1 play. And he didn't have a turn 1, and he didn't coin out a turn. He didn't coin out a 2-drop. So what if I do play this? It can result in Mortal Coil coin 2-drop. This can be answered by, the most likely answer is a Dark Bomb. Now, what do I follow it up with? So if I play this, if I play Knife Juggler now, let's test for Dark Bomb. Because Dark Bomb coin, you need a 1-drop to be able to clear, like you need to clear this thing with a Dark Bomb. Yep, so there it is. But then what are you doing with that? Are you able to coin out, say, a Flame Imp? No. So that's pretty good. We can go Loot Hoarder here. This is fine. Yeah. So that sort of slowed him down, because if the Loot Hoarder got Mortal Coil, like he does have a Mortal Coil in hand, he could have coined out a 2-drop. And I'm assuming there's a 2-drop that's going to come out this turn. No? Is it some sort of a hand lock? Like a defensive hand, like Reno lock? With a load of Legendaries and so on and so forth? Hard to say. Anyway, let's just develop as is. Hard to say when you've only seen answers. But I'm expecting a hand lock. Yeah, there it is. So there's the Drake. I think we just go aggressive. I don't think I can last. I don't think I can. This sort of list can last in the long term against a hand lock, because you don't have things like Loatheb to counter like a big Shadow Flame or a big Hellfire. Although we do have hexes to deal with their taunts. There we go. So there are more. Yeah. So that's a big taunt. It's not bad. Okay. I can abusive. No, I think we're gonna have to Lightning Storm here. Do I try for Totem first? Actually, no. I can fire Ellie. I can fire Ellie the Twilight. I think that works. Is it? I think Lightning Storm is a little too much RNG, and like I'd be Totem Lightning Storm with an abusive. I think the Fire Ellie play is neater. Yeah. Okay. And the Argus doesn't really challenge anything at the moment. I would really like to be able to pick up some hexes now to deal with his inevitable giants that will come down. I'm pretty sure this is a handlocked list. Not seeing any demon, so it's not like the demon variant. I think it's just the straight up handlock with Taunt Givers and Shadow Flames. Okay. Now, why would you trade? Why would you trade there? You don't often see Shredders in handlock, actually. This could be some sort of Reno list. Hard to say. Hard to say. It might be tempting to Lightning Storm just to clear this. He's not going to fill his board very much. Or do I just go face? Do I just go face and be aggressive? Let's see what the totem gives us. I don't really want to develop anything that can be cleared. Okay. This gives me a guaranteed clear of the... You know what? I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to heal my... That's fine. I'm going to heal my fire elemental up. And Do I want to play the direwolf? Am I ever extending if I play the direwolf? I think I might be. Let's hold on to our resources. Yeah. Okay, I think there's a Hellfire coming. Okay, that's fine. I think that sort of justifies the fact that I didn't play the direwolf. And you didn't tap. Why did you not tap? I wonder. Anyway, but now we have a fairly empty board for us. And I could have probably actually considered playing the direwolf there also. But I think trying for a taunt is fine. And, you know, even getting a not taunt gives me a good chance of getting the taunt next turn. If you know what I mean. It's a little complex, that line of thought. But I think you know what I mean. Okay, so we can Stormwind Shout. This thing's gonna be weak to Siphon. But we get a very neat clear. We get a very neat clear on the Sludge. And I think we try for Healing Totem. Not quite, but this does also enable some of my powerful spells. So we're looking pretty good. Weak to a second Hellfire. Okay, that's fine. That's very manageable. We have a 5 damage. I can pay 6 mana for 5 damage on the Lotheb. It's not quite enough. I think I want to save this thing actually. If I direwolf in the middle, actually I can direwolf here and trade these two in. But I don't really want to lose my. I think this works. Yeah. See what we get in terms of Whirling Blades is nice. I mean, not going to be able to use it this turn. Yeah, let's Totem and Sunwalker. Sunwalker gives us a lot of this is great actually. Yeah, and gives us really good value heal. And the Sunwalker is going to be very hardy against whatever the Warlock throws out this turn. So, I mean, Siphon Soul is 6, and there's nothing within BGH range, so we're pretty good. Yep, lucky. It just looks like my Warlock opponent didn't draw into the Giants that he needed. He had the Taunt Givers, but not the Giants, so pretty straightforward game there. Pretty good. I think just we started quickly, and we were able to put on pressure throughout the game. And he played such a slow early game. With, you know, like Dark Bomb into Mortal Coil. I think it's just you sort of want something. You even as a handlock, you sort of want help. You want to be able to do something in the early game. Anyway, next game. Okay, I don't think I'm crackling anything. The Ooze will be nice, but the Ooze might actually. The thing with Ooze against the Paladin is you don't. It's not a huge priority to Ooze a Muster, and the thing is the Muster comes out on turn 3. The best time to have Ooze is actually on turn 4. I mean, on the turn following their turn 4, which is when you can Ooze Totem. So this is actually more of a turn 4 play. Do I want to keep a turn 4 play? Or do I just want to play it? If I keep it, I may need to play it for tempo. Actually, let's keep it as a turn 4 play, because it can be so useful against the True Silver. But just thinking about it now, yeah, there we go. So we have a decent ramp up now. And Pyro Coin, you know, Pyro Coin is just great against nonsense. Okay, I could even just coin Pyro. I think this is fine because I can use the spare part to also activate the Pyro. So actually, Clockwork turn 1 into turn 2 Pyro coin whatever is really good. Okay. Let's see what we find. And if we find another, if we manage to find, okay, it's a get down. That's fine. That's fine. Armor plating. I don't want to spend the Pyro coin armor plating right now. I think we just coin out the Crusader. Or I could coin out the Earthen Ring. I think the Crusader offers more of a body. And we do have the turn 3 Pyro armor plating. If he musters up. So he can muster hit and then have this go to the face. And we can clear the board. Yeah, we have a pretty good answer against muster. Yeah, so Pyro armor plating is just insane. Okay, well this is fine because I don't actually need to clear the Haunted Reaper. I think we just develop the Farseer. And this will set up a big Pyro armor plating turn. Yeah, very strong synergies actually between Pyro and spare parts. Let me note down. Pyro plus spare parts equals great synergies. Like great anti-aggro synergies. I mean, we already know that spare parts are great synergies with things such as, do we go for the clear? Do we go for the clear? It protects, it sort of protects. Actually, do we pyro armor? Pyro armor. Pyro armor will clear the spiders. Or do I want to save that for next turn? This is tough. Or do I just want straight up Maiden? Maiden, but then Maiden, Maiden means I need to clear one of the spiders. Yeah, I think we just Maiden. His board at the moment doesn't challenge the Maiden, but this trading in plus a Consecrate will do good work against my board. Although it does set up the Pyro armor for next turn. So, you know, pros and cons, pros and cons. Yeah, Pyro and spare parts, great synergies. It's sort of like Flamewaker, but Flamewaker is so much more aggressive and so much more efficient than Pyromancer because Flamewaker doesn't burn your own board. But I think Pyromancer, you know, strikes. It's a well-designed card. Here we go. So Pyro with most probably good doing Pyro armor. Okay. Okay, Pyro armor. Now, is this an Avenge? It doesn't necessarily have to be an Avenge. I don't want the Avenge to land on the 4-3, so I think it's worth doing this. Pat Nagel. No, the Nat Pagel. I don't know why I call him Pat Nagel. Must be a Day9 thing. I don't think it's important to clear it, actually. I think we Pyro. That's fine, that's fine. Because the armor actually puts it just out of range. There we go, that works. And then we can totem up. Get the value on the turn. I don't really care if he draws more cards, because the Pat Nagel, the Nat Pagel, whatever. The Pagel is really slow. And the efficiency of his card draw isn't that great. Now the Mysterious Challenger is very, very annoying. So I'm going to want to do something about that. And it's going to be problematic. Yeah, the Christmas Tree Pally, it rears its ugly head. Now, we don't have an answer, actually, to the big... Do we just hold the line? Because if I Fire Ellie this... If I Fire Ellie this... I don't have a Hex. The thing is, I need a Hex to deal with whatever comes out of... Whatever this gets buffed into. Now, I don't mind this being redeemed. But this will get buffed. Do I want to do that this turn, or do I want to wait? Do I want to do it now, or do I want to wait? I think we cycle. I think we totem and cycle for Hex. Okay, that's actually a good draw. I mean, that's actually an excellent pickup. And this gives me another chance. So the topmost card on my list wasn't Hex. Okay, that's fine. Competitive, I'm not concerned about. It does allow him to clear my Stoneclaw, however. But we do need the Hex on the Mysterious. Or actually, like a Lightning Storm might work as well. Okay, no, that's not going to work anymore. Yeah, the Lothep. Yeah, this is like, you know, GVG plus Mysterious Challenger Pally, which is definitely going away soon. And we didn't get what we needed, so that's a problem. I think the game's done, actually. Yeah. I just didn't have the answers that I needed in my hand, and I'm pretty sure there's a get down in there. What can we do? I don't think there's anything we can do. I think I can trigger the get down. And then something's going to get buffed. I'm going to have to clear the 7/7 if possible. Yeah, it's just the MC Pally nonsense, you know. And Avenger's actually coming out of the list as well. Yeah, and then the Redemption, Get Down and Redemption don't actually combo that well. I wouldn't put both of them in a Secrets Pally list, honestly. Okay, and we don't have enough. I don't believe we have enough. I mean, we can clear the 7/7, which I will do. It might keep us alive for another turn, especially if we get a Taunt Totem. The healing's okay, but how much damage is this? 13, 14 damage on the other side of the board. Yeah, you really do need a Hex against MC Pally. The Serious Challenger Pally, that is. Okay, 14. Yep, that's done. Is it? No, actually, I think we're one off, but there might be a Consecrate in hand. Let's actually wait for it to happen. That's 13. Hold on. Oh, no, we're done. Yeah. Miscounted. Yeah, it was 13 before the True Silver, and then the True Silver adds 2 more. Or, whatever. Something along those lines. Yeah, you really need a Hex. Okay, so Pyro, you really need a Hex versus Secrets Pally. Yeah, you need a Hex for that turn 6 Mysterious Challenger. So then you can attack in and then Hex whatever gets avenged. That's really the main answer. Or BGH, which I can't play, so that's a little problematic. Anyway, next game. Okay, not great. Don't think I want any of these. The Dark Iron is a 4 attack minion, it's not too bad. I think it's too slow, however. Scarlet Crusader, again, not great against Priests because of things like Shadow Word Pain. So I'll play it if I have to. But the Hex will be useful if we come up against something like a... So yeah, it's Dragon Priest. Something like a Valens on this thing is going to be a really problematic for us. And the Hex will do a lot of work there. So if you might consider, it might be a Coin Valens turn, it could be a Worm Rest. Yeah, and I think we might have already lost the game. This sort of start is almost impossible to come back from. And I think that's the strength of Dragon Priest. Being able to start really putting a lot of pressure on the board with Worm Rest. Okay, now that's a bit slow. But being able to put so much pressure on the board with Worm Rest and Whelp. But it's a little dependent on you having... On the Priest having dragons in hand. But if you've got the Legendaries, you can afford to build this sort of list. Okay, I think I will Abusive up. Now, do I want to Hex something? I don't think anything here is worth hexing, and if I go for Loot Hoarder, that could cycle me into a Lightning Storm, which will be very handy. Or do I Totem? I don't think the Totem does much for me here. I think we have to go Loot Hoarder. I could be wrong. The downside of Dragon Priest, obviously, is if you don't get this sort of really quick start, you kind of slow down, and your cards are actually really slow. Okay, yeah, this is actually worth a Hex now, I think, especially if I don't have any other plays. Yeah. So you've got to heal up, okay. Yeah, Priest with the big hand is going to be a problem, I feel. Alright, that's interesting. Dark Iron. Do I want to clear the North Shire, or do I want to clear the Zombie Chow? I think I clear the Zombie Chow because then his board has a harder time of challenging the Dark Iron. If I clear the North Shire, his board can directly challenge the Dark Iron. So I think this is a safer line of play. And there's our Lightning Storm, although there are some buffs. There's this buff on the Whelp, so it's not likely to do too much, especially against Dragon Priest. But the Dark Iron is going to be difficult for him to remove. You might have to resort to... Okay, well, alright. Not that difficult when you've got a Blackwing. But, yeah, it looks like... Okay. Horse Rider, Lightning Storm. I think I'm sold on the Horse Rider, Lightning Storm. There's a chance that the North Shire stays alive, but the fact it goes 2 for 1 against 2 very powerful minions, especially this thing that's excellent, so we got a really good roll there. But the fact that it goes 2 for 1 against a buffed up Whelp and a Corruptor, I think it was something that I had to do. Ugh. Not too bad, actually. Not too bad. Okay, I think I may have to Hex this thing. I mean, there's probably big dragons for me to Hex. There's probably something like a Chromaggi. There's probably something like a Ysera. But we're on turn 6. Do I do this play just for tempo? I think I do. I think I have to do this just for tempo. And now, do we Totem or Clockwork? I think Clockwork. Yeah. Just a little unfortunate. Okay. Oh, well, that was a nice draw from the Curator. So it's like a more of a control-y. Okay, that's fine. Oh, the time rewinder is going to come in handy. We get the freebie. That's nice on the Twilight, and the can doesn't directly challenge my Fire Alley, so I think we're pretty good there. Could have considered doing the acidic Swampus, but honestly, I think it's better to try for a taunt against a thing like a can. That's actually okay because my Stormwind champ survives, but yeah, I don't think we have the same amount of value as a. Okay, now we can hex this thing, but like I said, there's probably a Ysera coming down. I think we hold the hex. That's actually really good, yeah. So we've got the Stone Claw. The Stone Claw in hand is really good. The Sunwalker actually does a ton of work. I haven't realized it. Sunwalker actually does a ton of work against Priest. The best way for Priest to deal with this is probably MC, or even actually Shrinkmeister into Cabal Shadow Priest. But again, Shrinkmeister is leaving the metagame in Standard. And just to remind you guys, I think there's an announcement of an announcement on the 9th of March. So 9/3 announcement of something, and I'll put a link in the show notes. I did this in the previous video as well, but yeah, you know, just to give us some idea of what's coming. Now, I still suspect there to be a Ysera. So this is a very neat clear though. Pyro Hex is a very neat clear, but I think Stormwind is fine. I think Stormwind is fine because his board again doesn't challenge the Stormwind. Okay, I think this is fine. Yeah, I do think we need to save the Pyro Hex for the Ysera. You're playing a dragon list like this, I have to count on you having a Ysera, and if a Ysera stays up for the long term, I mean we're quite far behind as is. But he is cycling through his deck quite quickly. So I wonder, with this much draw in your list, is it a more aggressive dragon list? You could play a more aggressive dragon list if you're lacking the dragons. And this is now worth a hex, so I will throw a hex on this thing now. Okay, Pyro Hex, Crackle, that can work. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm sort of out of options here. Yeah, I could have held for longer, but I think we're sort of out of options here. And there's so many cards. My opponent has so much card advantage. It's gonna be a bit of a. It's gonna be troublesome to come back. There we go. So there's the Twilight Guardian. There's just a lot of very good value in the priest list, the Dragon Priest list, but it comes at the cost of a very expensive deck. So dragons are often quite expensive, and things like Twilight Guardians, yeah, you know, epic cards. You need 2 of them, and then you need Blackwing Corruptors, which sit within. This is quite useful actually. That sit within Blackrock Mountain, and that's. I think it's like the 4th or 5th wing of Blackrock Mountain. I'll check. But yeah. So which wing of BRM are the Twilight Drakes? But it's a very expensive list to craft, which is definitely why, you know, I wouldn't ever be running something like that. Here, now well, let's just see what we find. Ooh, the Argus works. I can Argus up. Okay. Yeah, this gives me just enough to clear. But again, there are things like Ysera in his hand. I'm assuming there are things like Ysera in his hand, and we're going to have trouble against that. Although I can set up a strong time rewinder, so it's to sort of catch up on card tempo. Okay, not anymore, but a time rewinder on an Argus is fine also. And getting that sort of heal back, it will prolong the game. And since we're sort of heading into... Do I have a second hex left? Since we're sort of heading into fatigue, it can make a difference.
Into the breach!
My eyes are open.
I think I risk him clearing. He doesn't know what spare part I have in my hand. I could have protected the Argus by spare parting it now, but I think it's more. Yeah, so there's a Ysera. That's the problem. So the game is going to end shortly, especially if he gets particularly good draws. Okay, but we're getting some pretty good draws as well. And we can actually play a little bit defensively here. So I'm going to set up some taunts. But the thing is, we become very, very weak to Ysera Awakens. I think we just have to play into that. I think we just have to play a little bit defensively, protect my board, and then just play into that. Because, honestly, I don't have much left for dealing with the Ysera. Yeah, there's the Awakens. There's not much I could have done about that. It does set up the Fire Elemental clear, but we're so far behind now in terms of health. I don't think it's going to make a difference. There is a heal bot, but yeah. So this is like a control, curator. So it's like a curator dragon list. It was always going to be tough to beat with a budget list. It's a little bit unfortunate that we're going to drop back to rank 17, but you know, these things happen. You can't always predict. And no, we didn't get the taunt, so we're done. Yeah. What could I have done differently in that game? I mean, at least this was a drawn-out game. It wasn't just like me getting stomped by like Face Hunter. What could I have done differently in that game to affect the outcome? Honestly, like to go up against the Dragon Priest like that, you sort of do need things like well, double hex was really useful. I think some silencers would have been really useful. Earth shocks actually would have been useful as well against Dragon Priest with Ysera. Earthshock probably does a lot of work, although it doesn't stop the first card coming out, so it's still guaranteed to get a lot of value. What else? What else could I have done in terms of the budget shaman to affect the outcome? It's hard to say, really. It's hard to say. I think the only real answer is to be really aggressive and then hex his big things and then push through. Even maybe. I really don't know. Actually, I don't know what a shaman can do. This sort of like a value shaman list can do against a control priest, because they've got so much mid game push, and especially with that sort of start, the zombie chow, not the zombie chow. I mean, he had 4 1-drops as well, so he was sort of guaranteeing the early start into the curator. So he had double zombie chow and double Twilight Whelp. So you've actually got a lot of 1-drops, and then you follow up with the Worm Rest, and then you're sort of done from there. I guess, like, what's the answer to a turn 2 Worm Rest? Like a 2/4. I think the only answer is he doesn't have a dragon in hand and it becomes like a crap card. Other than that, probably like something like a zombie chow plus your own buff cards to contest. Yeah, I wonder. Well, if you guys have any ideas, please let me know. Any ideas how a shaman deals with, how a budget shaman deals with Dragon Priest. I mean, if we weren't budgeted, I would have, you'd have BGH, you'd have things like, well, let's actually, Elemental Destruction would actually probably do a lot of work against this sort of a list, because if he develops, say, like if he develops his Corruptor, you can do Elemental Destruction to at least ensure that clear, and the dragon list is slow enough that you can take this sort of overload, I believe. What else might you want? Nothing that really directly counters it. I mean, you could go for OTK, but that's just something you do if you want to put that sort of win condition in your list. And then things like if you see a lot of Dragon Priest, I definitely would be putting in a Black Knight. That does a lot of work. A Sylvanas would also probably do a lot of work. Although priests, shamans have a bit of trouble. Actually, no, you can activate your own Sylvanas with what was it? Include Uncraftable. Here we go. Reincarnate. Yeah, so Sylvanas Reincarnate would actually do a ton of work against, like, say, a Twilight Drake. Not Twilight Drake. The Twilight Guardian. Well, that's so many Twilight words. Anyway, I'm not disappointed with that game. I think it was the expected outcome. I think barring a super fast start from me, which probably would have required like, you know, me getting all of my 1-drops and 2-drops, like hitting every piece of the mana curve. That was probably an expected outcome. So not too salty about that. Okay, so actually let's finish up there. I think that final game took a while, so let's wrap. And thanks in advance, guys, for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. I do this with a love, and any gestures of appreciation are much appreciated. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. And yeah, we're like, you know, we made a bit of a push. We got lucky, actually. I think I have to put it down to luck. We got a lucky win streak to 16, and now I'm running into things like Secrets Pally and Dragon Priest. And it's going to take a bit of adjusting. It's going to take a couple of games for me to figure out what I can do in this list to deal with things like Secrets Pally. I mean, we could have definitely won that Secrets Pally game if I had the Hex in hand, and we do have double Hex in the we do have double Hex in the list. So I mean, it could have definitely gone our way, but the Priest was sort of a little oppressive from the start with the Twilight Whelp into Wormrest, into, you know, whatever else comes next. So yeah, anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and hope you guys have a lovely day and a lovely weekend. We are heading into the weekend now, so I'll be back shortly with some more Budget Shaman ladder climbing. So until then, this is No Dust signing off.